So I'm a little haggard. My makeup's a little melted. I've done back-to-back open houses, Saturday and Sunday, and I've only had one visitor per each open house. The good news is they were serious buyers, but nonetheless, the market is slow. I call this the great
slowdown.
Slowness in the market, quicksand. Things aren't moving as rapidly as they once did. This has happened 3 consecutive years in a row. It's annoying if you're trying to sell your house. It's frustrating because you don't know what to do to resuscitate buyer demand. It's a very frustrating time if you're trying to move your house very quickly. This is a very data-driven economy that we're in right now. The housing market responds very quickly to it. We're gonna go through a few data points so it will at least explain what I'm trying to share here in this video, what you're experiencing, and I'm gonna give you some tips on how to navigate through the slowdown. It's slow out there. So some of you are like, what's she talking about, the great slowdown the last 3 years? At the end of 2022 and at the end of 2023, and now the end of 2024, guess what's happening? The mortgage rates are starting to increase. And that's terrible, 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 terrible for real estate if you're trying to sell. Because buyers pull back, they get a little nervous, they start having, visions of potential 2008, 2009 market crash, right? And they're a little skeptical. Everyone's looking at that election, trying to figure out how the market's gonna respond to whoever becomes the president. Very uncertain times. But the number one thing in my personal experience is that when those mortgage rates start to spike, buyer demand pulls back. Let me put this slide on the screen. This is what mortgage rates are doing right now. So I'll just go through this really quickly. Beginning in January, rates were right around 6.5%, which still, folks, that's still a high mortgage rate. I mean, 6.5, where just 3 years ago we loved our 3% mortgage rates, a little more than double right now. So throughout the entire 2024, rates stayed higher for longer. So the rates started ticking up. It started to decline a little bit April, May timeframe, and it's been a slow, steady decline until about 3 weeks ago when the Fed announced they were going to do a 50 basis point reduction on the Fed rate. Guess what happened to mortgage rates? The mortgage rates went up 50 basis points. Doesn't make sense, right? It's very convoluted. There's a lot of things that actually affect the mortgage rates. Well, just make sure you know, Fed rate and mortgage rates, 2 totally separate calculations. Now, I'm optimistic that the rates are going to pull back down again and hopefully buyers are going to jump in. But as you can see from this graph, the last stinking 3 weeks, the mortgage rates have actually jumped up. This is going to mute buyer demand. So if you're sitting like me in my open houses going, I wonder what's going on, I guarantee you this is one of the major contributors. Let's look at this slide. Okay, this shows you what mortgage rates did in the last 3 years. Let's look at 2022. Rates got as high as 8%, we'll say July timeframe. It shocked the market. Shocked the market so much, buyers were stepping out or like, heck no. And inventory started increasing because a lot of buyers weren't jumping in the market and purchasing at that time. And if they were purchasing at that time, more than likely they were negotiating hard and the prices had to come down for them to consider it. Fast forward, 2023, right around April timeframe, the rates got up and spiked up to 7.5%. And the buyers were like, no, whoa, I'm not jumping in the market right now. Same thing happened in 2023. The inventory started increasing and buyers were kind of like, I'm not buying unless I get a deal. Here we are, Groundhog's Day, right? We're back in 2024. We started the beginning of the year around 6.5%. We got as high as 7.5% here in 2024, started decreasing, and now the rates are starting to spike again. We're shocking the market again. So here we are, the last 3 months of the year, and what's happening? Inventories are going up, buyer demand is significantly pulling back. So if you are trying to sell your home and you're like, where is everybody? There's a lot of things going on, but in my opinion, the mortgage rate, is probably the number one culprit to blame for the slowness in the market right now. We're hoping that comes down sooner than later. Please, Lord, I need to sell some homes. Here's another quick slide. Let's put it on the screen for you. This is national inventory. Audra, what am I looking at? You're looking at that red line. And that red line is going like this. That's inventory for 2024. So our inventories are rising. And we know that the closed sales are not as high as they used to be. So what's happening is homes are sitting on the market longer, and that's why we're having an increase in inventory. Now look at that lighter red line. That's 2023. You will notice that in 2024, we are substantially higher than 2023. In fact, we are 36.7% higher in inventory compared to last year. That is a significant number. So if you're wondering why the market is feeling sluggish, is because mortgage rates are having their impact, uncertainty, a lot of other contributing factors. There's election, and I heard there's solar flares that are, coming out, and people are getting freaked out. We got hurricanes, and we got fires, and we got a lot of things that are giving consumers some concern about jumping in the market right now. So this slide demonstrates that we are seeing increased inventories as compared to the last 4 years. Am I concerned about it? Not so concerned about it, but it does feel slower out there. And if you are putting your house on the market, especially right now, just expect it's going to take longer, and you're not going to have 400 people probably lined out front your house unless you're significantly, and I mean significantly, underpriced. Another fun way of looking at this, if there's any fun at all in this, is let's look at the map of United States of America. So the darker the state, the more inventory increase compared to the previous year. So you'll notice that Florida's at 55%. I'm getting, a lot of my followers are from Florida. So a lot of you are reaching out saying, it's so slow here, what's going on? Other than the hurricane, but you're at 55%. We got poor Arizona, you guys are at 70%. I'm in California, what are we in California? 41.5%. So we are starting to see inventories overall. This is what's contributing to this great slowdown. More buyers are concerned, they have more choices. Sellers are a little reluctant to just throw in the towel and negotiate a lower price. So it's a very slow market out there. Remember the good old days where we would have double-digit appreciation on our homes year over year? Yep, those were the golden years. Bye-bye. You'll check this map of United States of America. The darker the state, the higher appreciation, and the lighter the state, the lower appreciation. So we don't have any double-digit appreciation year over year. This is on a 90-day average. Yeah, California is, what are we at, 4.8%? But realize, guys, there's a trend. It's starting to get, the appreciation is starting to pull back, or we're not getting those double-digit appreciation. So for you out there that are like, oh, I'm gonna, push my house and get the highest price in the neighborhood, and you keep reaching for the moon, just realize there is a transitioning happening right now, which means slower market. We're not pulling, hundreds of $200,000 over the last comp. If you're going to sell your house in this marketplace, you need to understand the data, and you need to understand how the market responds to this data. I can tell you right now that I'm living it every day. It's much different than just even a few months ago. Subscribe to my channel. I know I wasn't gonna bug you, but I wanted to show you my new font. I'm doing new marketing stuff. I thought this was kind of cute. All right, you can also subscribe, help a girl out. My goal is gonna be 100,000 subscribers next year. Let's get back to it. I want to give a shout out to Altos Research for providing the slides for this video. Mike Simonson does a fantastic job of giving an overview of the nation's housing market every Monday. I will link his channel down below. Highly recommend you tune in. And no, this video is not sponsored. I wish, but it's not. I also did a video called What's the Housing Market Doing? And that video, which I will link down below, helps walk you through and how to find the right reports for your own city and your own metro area. Really important that you tune in to watch that if you are considering putting your house on the market here in the short term. So what do you do if you have to sell your house quickly and you need to liquidate it in a sluggish market? All right, you all know what I'm gonna say, and we all hate what I'm gonna say, and this is what I'm gonna say. You need to drop your price, and not 5,000, 10,000. We're talking massive price reduction to get the buyer's attention. When buyers are nervous, the only way to attract them is to limit their risk. And the way you limit their risk is by reducing your price below market value. So they feel if the market corrects or there's any, whoopsie daisies in the market, at least they have a little bit of a comfort or a barrier to limit their risk a little bit. I know that's hard to hear. If you can have a little bit of staying power and this election gets behind us and the rates go down, you might have a better probability or a higher probability of success if you just wait it out. But you know how life works, right? There's no guarantees. There's no guarantees. Who knows? 3-6 months? You never know. Market could be much worse than it is now. So I think what it comes down to is you got to kind of hedge your bets, right? Where do we think the market's going to be in 3 months to 6 months? I don't know. But I can tell you the last 3 years, same thing happened. End of year, it wasn't fun. As soon as the new year started, rates came down a little bit and the market picked up. Another option is you can take your house off the market because your buyers are looking at that days on market calculation. The longer the house is on the market, the higher perception that buyers think that the sellers are going to be more negotiable. And oftentimes they are. So the conversations I'm having with some of my sellers who have that staying power is I'm telling them this, like, hey, listen, if by Thanksgiving the property isn't under contract, perhaps we take your house off the market, repackage it, wait 90 days. Now, why is 90 days the magic number? The reason why 90 days is the magic number is because that's when the MLS counts those days on market. So in 91 days is what I tell my sellers, we put your house back on the market. It will be in a spring market and you will recount those days on market to 0. So that could be another option for you. You're just kind of hedging your bets a little bit and gambling that hopefully in 90 days it's going to be a much better market. No one knows. But I am having those conversations with some of my clients right now. There are a few properties that I have on the market right now where literally they're the only house on the market in the entire neighborhood. And in that situation, I'm like, hey, I say we just hold tight. Like, it could be one of these things where someone has to be moved into the area or they just sold their home and they need a place to go. And if you're the only option, you're the good option. In fact, you're the best option and you could have some better negotiating position for being the only one on the market. I think where it becomes a little concerning is when you have 5 or 10 houses on the market in the same neighborhood. And that might be one of those situations where you would want to talk to your trusted agent to ask them, hey, is it time to take our house off the market? And maybe wait a few months and try it when the market is improved. But you really, really, really need to make sure that you hire the best agent you can find. And if you are thinking of putting your house on the market next spring, now is the time to find that agent. You should be talking and working with them and having a strategy on how to get your house on the market at the beginning of the year. And if you don't have an agent to interview, I do have a referral manager on my team. Her name is Diana. I will link an email down below that you can email us your request. And also, if you're moving to a different state or relocating, we can offer you realtors actually across the globe if that's of interest to you. So here's my prediction in 2025. I think we're going to have lower rates. I think our inventories are going to be slightly higher than they were in 2024, which you sellers out there, that means that you have more competition. So you got to make your house shine a little bit better than your neighbors. Be aware of that. It's also going to take longer to get your house under contract. Now, if you are selling a home, please mark my words on this. It feels like a lifetime when you're selling your home. Every day you remember every minute because it's super uncomfortable. You have to have your house all put together. So in my opinion, you need to mentally prepare, and you also need to be interviewing those agents to help you get your house ready for the beginning of the year. Start decluttering, start doing that now. It will help with the stress levels, I promise you. I do think 2025 is going to be a promising year. I think it's going to be a healthy year. I just don't think it's going to be a double-digit appreciation, and I think that the rates are going to come down. They're just never going to get down to 3% here in anytime soon. I could be wrong. I hope they do, but I don't think we're going to get back there for a very, very long time, if ever. Okay, folks, I'm taking a nap. I am so tired. I hope that came out well. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you guys have any topics that you would like me to discuss, please comment down below. Thanks so much for your support, and I'll see you in the next one.